Let's go. Good evening. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody in London, in Warwick, in Reading, and here in Oxford to this, the launch of the third year of the IFSTAL programme. It's really very exciting. All of us who've been involved in IFSTAL over the years of its development and its implementation have just seen it grow more and more, and it's really great to see such a wonderful crowd of people from diverse backgrounds across these institutions joining us tonight and hopefully through the year ahead. So my name is John Ingram. I lead the Food Systems Research Group in the Environmental Change Institute here in the University of Oxford. I'm also the IFSTAL programme leader, and I work very closely with my colleagues in the other institutions, and together tonight we will present ourselves and the work that we have. So a particular welcome to new students who are coming into our universities for a master's programme or a PhD programme. Welcome back to any of the students who've already been part of the IFSTAL programme from years 1 or years 2. What I thought I'd just do for the benefit of people who are joining for the first time is just spend a few minutes as to why we're doing all this and the thinking that's gone behind the evolution of IFSTAL. As I'm sure you're all aware, and maybe in the other sites there's been discussion about some of the sustainability issues to do with food, as we were doing here in Oxford. There are some big challenges in our food system. There are some tremendous successes. If you think of the successes, to start, here we have a population of about 7 billion, and of that population, the majority are not hungry. This is a remarkable success. 5 billion people are not hungry. If you go back, or 6 billion, if you go back 2 or 3 decades, you'd have a much smaller number of people who weren't hungry. So you can think of it as a positive. However, the tremendous success that we've seen has come at a cost. There is a substantial environmental cost that we're all pretty much aware of. There's a cost on our health, what we call now the multiple burden, or some people say the triple burden still, of malnutrition. Malnutrition means bad, it doesn't just mean under. So with 2.5 billion of us consuming too much, that's having a detrimental effect on our health, but also a major impact on our environment. We've still got, frankly, an unknown number of people who don't have sufficient nutrients. It could be 3 billion, it may even be 4 billion. And we are aware that there's about 1 billion people who are just objectively hungry. So, you know, there are some big challenges that we're trying to address in our food system. And colleagues in the other institutions and I were talking about this about 4 or 5 years ago, and we felt that it would be very valuable and worthwhile to try and set up a mechanism to generate a generation of food system analysts, people who can think about the food system in its various complexities and move out into the workplace, if that's what they want to do, in the food sector, who help to bring about the systemic change that we need and that we've identified as important. So how do we do that? Well, generally the academic world, you know, write learned papers, and there's mainstream education that you're all engaged in. But we felt that's fine up to a point, but if we could offer a further package of education which puts into context the various degree courses you're all engaged on, it would help you get more out of those degree courses, but it also gives you the context of where that specialism fits in the system and how you can go into an area of work on your specialism aware of the broader challenges of the food system and how your contribution fits in and can work with other specialisms. So the institutions that you're familiar with in the IFSTAL programme got together. We were very grateful to the Higher Education Funding Council for England for giving us a grant to have 3 years of activity, and here we are starting the 3rd year. Over years 1 and 2, we've had in the order of 1,000 students engage, which I think is a fantastic number. It's degree of engagement is up to you. You can engage really all the time and get involved with all the activities, and I will talk a little bit about the benefit of doing that. Or you can just have a slightly lighter touch because of your pressure on your work and all the rest of it. But it's entirely up to you. But we are here, we are here to offer a package that will be interesting, we believe, that will be valuable, and will help you in your studies and through into work afterwards. So food systems thinking is a challenge in itself. What do we mean by that? Food system is a classic case of a socio-ecological system. It's also a complex adaptive system. It's got a whole range of drivers and influences. It's got a whole range of different actors who all have a range of motives. It has a number of activities, has a number of outcomes, environmental, health outcomes, but also enterprise and livelihood outcomes. And it's very important to remember that the food system can be thought of as a collation of enterprises. And so there is a massive livelihood agenda going on here, whether we're talking about this country or other parts of the world. Most people in the food system are there to have a job. And this is very important. And this explains a lot of the motives behind why certain actions are taken in our system. So how to bring about positive change in the food system? Well, first of all, we all need to be aware of what's going on in the food system. Many people think, oh, it means agriculture. Other people think it means marketing. Other people think it means greenhouse gas measurements. So all of these things are correct, but they are, of course, but a few of the many factors that we need to think about. And colleagues and I felt that if we could help develop this new generation of food system professionals, food system analysts, who could move into the workplace with an interest in bringing about positive change, that if we did that together, we could do it more effectively than apart. And we are together, you see on the video, many people are together in this program this year. So the vision, if you will, is to have a new cohort of food system thinkers, what we're calling a food system community. And we are part of it. You are all part of it already. You can leave, but I hope you don't. You will still remember, I hope, the notion of a food system as distinct to food production. And so already, I hope, we are part of that community. As I mentioned, we've had about 1,000 students engage already. And this year, since the portal opened, there have been about 100 students sign up, and this is fantastic. In addition to signing up on the portal, it's important, if you wish, and I encourage you so to do, to just put a little piece of introduction of yourself, why you're there, what you're interested in. And that's very valuable because it helps us see the range of interests so that we can tailor the program more effectively. And it also helps you meet each other, not only here in Oxford, but across our partner institutions. And by way of a slight encouragement, we felt it would be fun to identify the 50th person to sign up in each institution this year, which is quite easy to do with the clever Google Analytics, and to award some sort of a prize to that person. Now, some of you may think this is bribery. On the contrary, this is nothing but encouragement. The prize has yet to be determined, but it's going to be probably comestible and it's going to be yummy. But in addition to that, there's a chance for us to say, congratulations to the 50th person. Here is whoever it is, and he or she is interested in this. And this is just something to begin to get the sense of togetherness going and to encourage more participation. So how's all this going to work? Well, over the course of the year, we have a number of activities, and there's an agenda that you've probably seen in the brochures. What we've done is to concentrate on what we call a flipped classroom style, whereby there's material online on the portal for you to study. It doesn't take very long, it takes about an hour or a couple of hours to go through that material in preparation to coming together for a physical workshop, which is termed flipped classroom. And so at the workshop, everyone has had some engagement with the online material and they're ready to go. That happens twice a term, in the autumn term and the spring term. And these face-to-face events are very much part of IFSTAL. So I'd like us all to think about IFSTAL as a physical interaction program supported by an online resource. It's thereby considerably different to just a MOOC. It's much more about talking with each other across institutions and within institutions. We have a number of away days where you can meet people from the workplace and discuss the nature of their work and the sort of work you all might like to get engaged in. We have a PhD workshop, which is, by the name suggests, dedicated to people on PhD programs, which discuss examples of how one writes research bids, how one writes papers and this sort of thing. We have a summer school at the end of the year for 30 students. The first 2 years it's been fantastic. And the really good thing about the summer school is for the students who are interested through the year, they come to that and they've all met during the year. So they basically know each other. And we move on to thinking about a range of other skills needed to be an effective food system analyst. What are sometimes called soft skills, to do with communication, to do with how you understand positioning in organizations and all that sort of stuff. So it's really valuable for moving into the workplace. We also have this year what's called a journey document, which is this sort of a thing, and they should be available around, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that in a moment. But that's more than just a record. It's a way for you to help track your engagement, and Rosina Borelli in a moment will talk about the value of doing that. The real point of all this is to help you become more aware of the way you can move and work in the food system, and if that's what you wish to do, to give you the best possible tools to move from the tertiary education through into the workplace. We have a lot of interaction with the workplace. I look at it as not just education from tertiary education per se, but also an education from the workplace in the nature of the skill set they need, the sorts of work opportunities there are. And so I encourage you to engage with the away days and to talk to colleagues from the workplace at the summer school and the like. I guess the most important thing, and the point I'd like to close with, is the value of staying engaged. Now, it's easy to say that, and it's wonderful to see you all here at the various institutions tonight. Many of you have already signed up to the portal. I've read with interest the little intros that some of you have already posted, and this is great. We understand there are pressures in the year. There's the academic pressures, there's social pressures and all the rest of it. But the point is that when you think about IFSTAL from the back of the year to today, the package that one can assimilate and benefit from, culminating in the summer school, is really powerful. And so think of this as the summer school, if you will, and the preparation to the culmination of the year. So the more you do engage and the more you are able to stay engaged, we believe the more you get out of it, the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. It's voluntary, there's no compulsion, but we do believe that it's a real asset, and many of the alumnus who've now moved out into the workplace are sending back extremely positive stories of their time, not just in the learning, but in the interaction and the networking that they've been able to establish as part of the IFSTAL program. So we have the summer school, we have a certificate, and we have this journey document. Just little things to help you engage, to see how you're getting on, and that we are all here to help. I know over in the different sites you've all met your respective education coordinators. Here we've got Sahar Hasnain, who will be who's been around. She's just over there for the moment, but she'll come over here to say hi in a moment. I'd also now just like to introduce 3 people who work across the program rather than at the individual institutions. The first is Rosina Borelli, who's the workplace engagement lead. So Rosina, let me pass over to you to explain a little bit about your role and how you can help students engage.
Thanks, John. Hi, everyone. Disconcerting, I need to look at the room rather than the camera and rather than my notes. So as John said, I'm Rosemary Collier. I'm the workplace engagement lead and I work across the institutions. I will generally be found on my travels up and down the country, visiting you guys, visiting all the other sites, visiting employers, and I'll talk about those in a second, and organisations that are interested in the IFSTAL programme. So my job specifically is to connect IFSTAL from our perspective with employers and with workplaces, and that can range anything from DEFRA to Sainsbury's to DFID to the FAO, for example. It's a huge range of organisations that our IFSTAL cohort are interested in. But it's also about working the other way around. So it's about raising awareness of the IFSTAL group, of the IFSTAL community amongst those individuals and amongst those organisations. And we work very closely with them. Obviously, IFSTAL was born from the gap in workplace skills that's out there, as John already said. For us to be able to plug that gap, we need to make sure that you guys are picking up the knowledge, the skills and the confidence to be able to go out there into those organisations and make change happen within the food system. Just by being here tonight, you're already part of that food systems community. Even if you find you don't have time, of course you will, for the rest of the year to be here, you will already have some idea of some of the changes that need to happen. So please maintain that enthusiasm that we've seen here tonight, and I'm sure you have across the other sites for that, because employers value it, and they value the fact that you come out with your own specific discipline, skills and knowledge, but also that perspective that many others lack. So being able to put yourself in the shoes of our anthropologists, our food policy students, our plant scientists, our agricultural economists, our food scientists, all those other people around the country that you will be bumping into online and also at away days, at the summer school, at workshops. Ensure that you get a different view of the food system from each of them as well. There's lots of you already that are in work. I've noticed somebody already talked about business meetings. Some of you may be career changers and you may already have many years of work experience behind you. What's important to note is that, as I said, by lifting IFSTAL in the awareness of organisations, we managed to create exclusive partnerships. So we work very closely with Sainsbury's on their postgraduate internship programme, which will launch in January. I'll tell you a little bit about that in a second. There's also other opportunities, not necessarily internships, but definitely work-based learning experiences. We currently have a competition for a 2-day conference attendance at the Real Farming Conference here in Oxford, but it's open to any IFSTAL students, so it's not just specifically to Oxford, and they will cover accommodation and travel, and you'll also get to network with a huge amount of people at that conference. So look out for that on the portal because it closes on Monday and there's still an opportunity to get your name down for that. There's obviously far too much to say in such a little amount of time. I think just one thing I want to reiterate. I come from the workplace and I'm very keen on you using the learning journey. It's a way for you to document your thoughts as you go through the different sessions, events, even just as you're reading something on the train. It's a really good way of capturing some of the actions that you want to take throughout the year. And it's surprising, as John said, there are so many distractions throughout the year, and good distractions, but they bring you back to the start of the year, and maybe what you were thinking about today might be quite different to what you're thinking about in June next year. It's a really good way of evidencing your time on IFSTAL. It's a great way of filling in a CV, a LinkedIn profile, and adding all those lovely juicy bits that organisations are looking for that make you stand out and make the IFSTAL brand, if we can call it that, special. Now, it's also something we're working on is how we can gain some sort of additional accreditation for you. So please, please, please fill it in, because it will form the basis of an accreditation potentially by the end of the year as well. You can contact me directly. As I said, I kind of journey around the country. I will be present at one workshop in each location over the next 3 months. And but look out for my monthly update. I tend to send a roundup of jobs, a roundup of internships and exclusive opportunities for you. And please just keep in touch. Thank you.
That's great, Regina. Thank you very much. So another person who's part of the IFSTAL family and has been from the outset, very important position is Roger Sykes. I'd just like to welcome Roger. Roger's the IFSTAL program manager. Without Roger, certainly tonight wouldn't have happened. Mind you, the last 2 years wouldn't have happened either. So it is important that Roger is known to you, to do with the machinery, if I can put it like that, of IFSTAL. He keeps it running extremely well. Roger, just come and say hi to the colleagues.
So welcome everybody. This does slightly feel like a Eurovision Song Contest. For those who are aware of the Eurovision Song Contest, we're beamed across the 4 sites. Very pleased to be here. So my role is the program manager here. Very important things in terms of organising the events, making the program run to time, reporting to our funders to make sure we're delivering what we do, and most importantly for students, when you come to our events, paying your expenses. So remember that. I'm the person to know if you want your expenses paid over the next year, come to me. In addition to that, I support the development of a range of other food systems research projects we do here, and also working with John and other universities to think about developing new research projects for the future as well. My background, before I came into this learned institution at Oxford, was mainly in the policy agenda, working with central and local government. So if you're interested in that area, feel free to get in touch with me. I have lots of insights about the way the government works in different ways. I was at DEFRA yesterday, and just to say that the civil servant I spoke to was complimenting me on the quality of the internships who came from the IFSTAL programme last year. So remember that. We have those contacts into government if that's what you want to do. And finally, a bit of trivia for me. Aside from doing this in the day job, and John will know this, I helped run a football team of 25 under-7s and under-6s as some light relief from doing the day job during the week. So if you're interested in football, talk to me. Thank you.
That's great, yeah. Thanks very much, Roger. Yes, indeed, you don't just run a team, you kind of organise a huge youth football movement. It's quite extraordinary what you do in your spare time. We're obviously giving you too much spare time. I'll have to look at that. Okay, great. So the third person I'd like to introduce to you all is Michael Panagopoulos, who's our Knowledge and Communications Officer. Explaining what IFSTAL is about is and has been challenging. So we're absolutely dependent on good communication, whether it's visual or whether it's writing blogs or just generally helping out with ideas. But very much part of the IFSTAL team working across the sites is Michael. Michael, perhaps come and say hi to the folks.
Hello. Yes, as John mentioned, I'm Michael Panagopoulos. I'm the Knowledge and Communications Officer for IFSTAL. So I'm responsible for some of the more external-facing communications, including the website, social media. We have a blog. And I'll probably be approaching some of you to write for the blog in the coming year, but if you've got any ideas for things that you want to write, just get in touch with me. And yeah, if you're not already following us on social media, do look us up on Facebook, on Twitter, and on LinkedIn. And well, the other thing to say is I'm also, in addition to my work with IFSTAL, I'm the coordinator of the Oxford Martin Future Food Network, which is everyone at Oxford who works on food. So I can provide linkages that way. So yeah, that's it.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Michael. Good. Well, as I say, Rosina, Roger, and Michael all work across the programme. They're here for us all at all the 4 sites to use and work with and benefit from. So thank you all very much for that. So now let me just hand back to Sahar, who is the Education Coordinator here in Oxford. Many of you have met Sahar here in Oxford already, but come and just introduce yourself to our colleagues in other sites.
Hi everyone. The people at Oxford have already heard entirely too much from me, so I'll keep it brief. Yes, I'm the Oxford Education Coordinator, so any events at Oxford, especially the workshops and the away days located here, are the ones that I will run. So any Oxford IFSTAL questions, please do ask me, and hopefully I'll meet many of you at the other away days, workshops, symposium, and summer school. Okay. I will now hand over to Warwick, where we have Rosemary Collier and Kelly, who will tell you a bit more about the Warwick group. Okay, handing over Kelly.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Warwick. My name's Rosemary Collier, and I'm the IFSTAL academic lead at Warwick. I'm an entomologist by training, and I spend some of my time working with farmers and growers, helping them to control their pests using a whole range of techniques. Yeah, I look at a whole range of things, particularly on vegetable crops. And just to say, tonight we've actually been turning the tables on the insects. We've been trying a range of different foods, including edible insects, and I'm not quite sure how many people here have eaten insects tonight. Yeah, so we've done quite well. So now I'll hand you on to Kelly Reid, who's our education coordinator. Hi everyone, so I'm Kelly Reid, I'm the education coordinator at Warwick. I'm also probably the person you're going to contact if you have any problems with the portal. I'll normally be the one that tries to help you out on that. My background's slightly different. I'm actually an archaeologist, an archaeobotanist in training, and I reconstruct farming and agriculture in the past. So if you're interested in history or archaeology, then I'm the girl for you. And I'll just introduce everyone at Warwick. So if you're away. So we'll now hand over to London.
Hello, can you hear us okay? Okay, so hello from the Royal Veterinary College, where we're very lucky to have all of our London events today. So our London event today, so we've got City and the Alcira group here. So that's students from SOAS, from the Royal Veterinary College, and from the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, as well as from City University of London. So we're all together in a big group. So everybody say wave and say hello. Hello from London. I'm Rebecca Wells. I'm one of the EC, the education coordinators at City University of London. I job share with Annabelle, who will introduce herself in a second. Our lead academic is Professor Martin Carraher, who's Professor of Food and Health Policy at the Centre, who couldn't be with us tonight, but I'm sure you'll meet him. Hopefully you'll meet him. And just a little bit about City, we have students from Centre for Food Policy, also we have a School of Health Sciences, so nursing students, health visitors, midwives, the City Law School, the School of Arts and Social Sciences, School of Maths, Computer Science and Engineering, as well as the Cass Business School, and the symposium in January will be coming from the Cass Business School, will be located there. So we have students from all those different schools taking part in IFSTAL. We have had, and hopefully we'll have again this year. And hopefully you'll get to meet some of them and discuss food systems from different perspectives. And I'll hand on to Annabelle, who's my job share partner.
Hi, I'm Annabelle Freese, and I'm the educational coordinator in City with Rebecca. My disciplinary background is geography and development studies, and I specialise in gender inequality and social inequality and agriculture.
Hi everybody. My name is Barbara Hazard. I'm the local PI here at the Royal Vet College and Alcira, which is the Levertown Centre for Integrated Research on Agriculture and Health. I'm a vet by training and consider myself to be an animal health researcher, looking mainly at foodborne diseases and trying to understand how they get into our food systems and what we can do to make food safer, but at the same time not jeopardize in any way food security and also reduce the environmental impact.
Thank you. My name is Lauren Blake. I'm the education coordinator for the Alcira colleges. So that's the Royal Veterinary College, London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, and SOAS University of London. And I'm based primarily in the Royal Veterinary College and also have an office in Bloomsbury around those areas. And the public lecture will be hosted by Alcira in SOAS. And that's in December. My background is in anthropology and human geography, and I look in particular at issues to do with malnutrition in developing countries, as well as food policy and activism in the UK as well. In terms of some of the disciplines that are represented in the Alcira colleges, at the Royal Veterinary College we have epidemiology, animal welfare, One Health, and lots of studies around both wildlife and wild animals and livestock. At LSHTM, we collaborate a lot with the epidemiology department as well as public health and nutrition. And SOAS, some of their key disciplines are economics, development studies, anthropology, as well as having many regional specialities. So those are just some of the sort of the key disciplines that tend to feed in most obviously to IFSTAL, but there are many others as well. So I think we're now going to be handing over to Reading. Thank you.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. Greetings from University of Reading. I actually want to say that we do have students here, by the way. We haven't been quite so clever with the camera angles, so we're going to turn it around in a sec. Yeah. Thank you, Mike. Thank you for that suggestion. So, yeah, my name is Alex Arnold. I'm an associate professor here in the School of Agriculture, Policy and Development at the University of Reading. And much of my research is around work in sub-Saharan Africa, looking at small-scale agriculture and food production in that region. So these are the kinds of things that my research focuses on, and these are some of the issues that I'm going to be bringing to the IFSTAL program this year. Harley, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name's Harley Pope. I'm the Reading Educational Coordinator. My research interests are quite broad. I'm a social scientist. I do a lot of stuff on food systems thinking, but I'm also interested in institutional aspects of agricultural research in the Indian agricultural research system. So I look at sort of how research is carried out and who's included in that and what sort of all that means.
Great. Yeah, thank you. So that's me, and it's Harley. Last but not least, I'm just going to turn this round so you can see all of our lovely students. Here they are. Everyone give us a wave. Okay. So thanks, guys.
Hands are back over to Oxford.
Is it me? No. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for that. And here's a wave from Oxford.
Very good.
That's the slightest wave ever. Thank you, everyone. And we'll now be closing the call. So hopefully see everyone very soon.
Good. Excellent.